Developing tonight, Springdale police say they're searching for suspects after one person was shot last night at the Lake Springdale trailhead. Officers were alerted last night at 9:45. The injuries are described as non-life-threatening, and police say the shooter fled before officers arrived. The person who was shot says another group approached them and physically attacked them. Investigators believe it's an isolated incident. We'll continue following developments from Springdale Police and bring you updates as they come into the newsroom with our free 5 News app. And parents of students at McNair Middle School and Vandergrift Elementary are speaking out about a controversial cell tower built on school property. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman met with a family to hear their concerns.
Some kids call it an eyesore.
It's not brown.
Others say it's taking up their play space.
It's really hard to play in this area. We'll probably kick balls over the fence.
But parents like Courtney Norton says it's worse than that.
And so we were unaware of the potential of the cell tower being placed not just near the school, but directly on the playground.
Now she and others say they're worried about radiation exposure
to the RF rays that the cell tower produces. We're just worried not only for potential harm for short term, but there is just continuous study on the long-term effects this can have not only on humans, but specifically developing children.
What I'm most familiar with is ionizing radiation. It's what I use to treat cancer, and we know that ionizing radiation can cause cancer even by itself.
Radiation oncologist Dr. Foster lastly says cell towers emit non-ionizing radiation, which isn't strong enough to damage DNA, but newer 5G frequencies come with new questions.
The frequencies have been increasing to improve different parameters with telecommunications, especially with the onset of 5th generation or 5G. The frequencies have been increasing above 6 gigahertz. And that has some different effects on the body.
He points out that children's cells divide faster and their developing brains could be more vulnerable to any potential risks. And while most studies show no clear link between cell towers and cancer, he believes caution makes sense.
I'm not sure that it's a great idea to put this right next to a school.
You're looking at 3 to 4 football fields that these should be away from school property.
Fayetteville Superintendent Dr. John Mulford says parents have reached out with concerns. He says the tower was approved 2 years ago as part of a long-term agreement with Smith's Communications. End part, quote, public comment opportunities and discussion of the site requests were provided during board meetings. He adds that while the district is contractually obligated to move forward, Smith Communications plans to host a parent forum to hear feedback. Norton says she understands the need for better service. She just wants the tower moved farther from students.
As this is such newer technology, there is just not a lot of trials and data to really confidently know what this is doing long term to the human body.
In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Laura Castleman, 5 News.
A meeting will be held at McNair Middle School this Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock for parents who are concerned about that cell tower. And a new state law is now in effect in Oklahoma, strengthening distracted driving rules. The law, which took effect yesterday, adds new penalties for using handheld devices like cell phones in active school and work zones where driver attention is crucial. Christy Tom spends a lot of her time in school zones and says while safety is important, she's not convinced fines alone will change driver behavior.
We all want to do them less, but they're highly addictive. So I think we need to have things in place to stop that. I don't know if this law is the best idea. More fines aren't necessarily going to stop people's addictions to their phones, but maybe it's something. I don't know.
If a driver's caught holding a phone in those zones, they could face an additional fine of up to $100. And a Fort Smith woman is celebrating 100 years of life today. 5 News photojournalist Marlon Wake was there for Delima Eldridge's 100th birthday celebration, where loved ones came together to grant her birthday wish.
When I look back, raising my family, I had I had 2 families. I had a son and daughter, and when they were 18 and 20, I had a little girl. And I thought, Lord, why did you do this to me? And now I say, I know. You sent her to me to take care of, and you sent her to me to take care of me when I get old. And she has. They all do. They all, I guess they pick their own chores, but I see all 3 of them sometime during the week, several times a week. So I've had a good life. If I had it to live over, I don't know of anything that I would change. I've taken lots of trips. I've traveled both sides of the world. And my children were in service. It may not be much, but I can do some things. I still like to bake. You know, I have to remember and remind myself, because sitting here, I could be 50. And when I get up and start up and down the halls and up and down steps, I'm 100. And I'm still taking therapy, and I do exercises. Treat other people like you want to be treated, and you will get through this life well.
Hundreds of local artists and makers packed the Washington County Fairgrounds this weekend for the NWA Makers Market. The event featured more than 350 local booths showcasing handmade art, furniture, and food, all created by Northwest Arkansas residents. Families also enjoyed local food trucks, a beer garden, and kid-friendly activities throughout the day. And the newest balloons for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade debuted at Macy's Balloon Fest. It happened in New Jersey, showcasing balloons from the 99th annual Thanksgiving Day Parade. They once again feature new and beloved characters from pop culture and entertainment. Nothing like watching the parade on Thanksgiving morning.